Hey guys, Jim here with another video. I'm starting a new series. I hope you like it. This is 5 underrated, forgotten, or movies people just have plain never heard of that are in my collection that I feel you really need to see. But before we begin, please hit that like button if you like what you see, subscribe if you could, and any kind of comments would be appreciated. So what I did was I picked what I thought were 5 movies that I just really love for one reason or another that not enough people have seen or talk about or much less even heard of. So what I tried to do is I tried to pick one movie from each genre. So in alphabetical order, we have American Pop. This is an animated movie, but it's an adult movie, and I don't mean it's an adult movie. I mean it's rated R. And directed by Ralph Bakshi, who did Fritz the Cat and Heavy Traffic, which were adult cartoons, but he also did the animated Lord of the Rings and Cool World and a couple other movies. But I think this is his best movie. And basically what this movie is it follows 5 generations of one family when they first come over to America. And all 5 generations are musicians. And it basically just shows the evolution of American music during like a 70-year period and stuff. And it's got a killer soundtrack. I mean, you could see some of the names right there. The Doors, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Mamas and the Papas, Leonard Skinner, Pat Benatar, Lou Reed, Bob Seger. I know Bob Seger, the song with him is Night Moves. It's pretty iconic. But this is one of those movies that I saw on cable a lot when I was a kid. And I don't know, maybe it's because I play drums and I'm a musician, or was at one point in my life. But I've always been drawn to movies about music, not so much musicals. But this movie I just really liked as a kid, and I was really happy when this got a Blu-ray release earlier this year. The only gripe I do have about this particular release is that it doesn't have any bonus features, but it looks and sounds great. So that's American Pop. That's my first recommendation. Next, this might be the movie that I've been championing more than any other in the last 20 years. The Boys and Company C. This is a Vietnam movie that came out in the late 70s. And I've had this Blu-ray for about 5 years now. And everybody I've shown this movie to absolutely loves it. I saw it when I was a kid. My brother, Greg, turned me on to this movie. And yeah, this movie is absolutely great. If you are a fan of Full Metal Jacket, you need to see this movie, because this is like Full Metal Jacket before Full Metal Jacket. R. Lee Ermey, who is iconic as the drill sergeant, plays the drill sergeant in this movie. There he is, 10 years earlier. This movie also has a lot of comedic aspect to it. It's kind of like a cross between Full Metal Jacket meets MASH, the original movie. I don't mean the sitcom. Andrew Stevens, R. Lee Ermey, Stan Shaw, Craig Wasson, Michael Lembeck. Everybody in this movie is phenomenal. I implore you, if you don't want to buy the Blu-ray, look for this movie on streaming. I know it's streaming somewhere. It is absolutely great. So, yeah, The Boys and Company C. It's from 1977, I believe. Yeah, it's either 77 or 78, but yeah. Out of the 5 movies that we're discussing, this is the one that I would push the most. Okay. Next we have more goodness. The Hidden. This movie is thoroughly entertaining. It's a science fiction action / horror movie from the 80s, starring Kyle MacLachlan from Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet, among other things. Michael Nouri, who was in Flash Dance. This was directed by Jack Shoulder, who also directed Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and Alone in the Dark. This is his best movie, period. This movie starts off basically with an action scene, and it doesn't let up until the end. It is 97 minutes that feels like an hour. This movie absolutely moves. I don't want to give away too much of the plot because, again, let's just say there's two cops, well, actually one cop and a Fed chasing a seemingly indestructible maniac bank robber killer. I can't go into much more than that without giving it away. But The Hidden is one of those hidden gems, no pun intended. It is just so much fun. So yeah, if you get a chance, check out The Hidden. It's a great movie. That's from the Warner Archive collection. It's pretty cheap, actually. You can get it on eBay or Amazon pretty cheap. This one is the most recent out of these 5 movies that I'm going to be recommending right now. And again, this is one of those movies that nobody really talks about. Luke Evans from The Hobbit and the live-action Beauty and the Beast, among other things. He's the star of this. The director of, as it says right there, Midnight Meat Train versus, I cannot pronounce his name. This is an insane slasher movie with practical effects. It is so gory. It's a throwback. I mean, it is just so good. And again, there is no fat on this movie. It moves. It's like an hour and a half long, and it feels like it's about an hour long. It is just so good. The cast is great. Lee Tergesen, who is in Oz and The Collection, is also in this, along with Luke Evans. Yeah, this movie rocks. If you've never seen No One Lives, or if you have and you just haven't seen it in a long time, I picked this up on eBay recently. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo pack, and it was used, but very good. And I got it for like $5. And yeah, this movie is totally worth $5. Last and certainly not least, this is a movie that hardly anybody talks about or has ever heard of. The Silent Partner. This is a Kino title. Elliot Gold, Christopher Plummer, Susanna York. This is from the 70s. Oh, John Candy's in this too. John Candy is very young in this. 1978, forgive me. This movie is phenomenal. You want to talk about suspense and it's great. The gist of this movie is Christopher Plummer is a bank robber. He goes into the bank the day before he's planning on robbing it to case it. He writes a note on one of the slips and hides it underneath some of the other slips because he's going to use it the next day to hand to the teller. And Elliot Gold is the head teller of this bank and comes across the note as he's closing up the night before the robbery. And instead of telling his boss or telling the cops or whatever, he plans for the robbery. And he puts the money in a bag underneath his counter before the robber even gets there, and then gives the robber a fake bag. Thinking that, what's the guy going to do? Call the cops? Well, what he doesn't count on in Christopher Plummer is not only a bank robber, but he is psychotic, and he will do anything to get his money. And let's just say it goes from there. And if you only know Christopher Plummer from The Sound of Music, you don't know Christopher Plummer. He is chilling in this movie. And Elliot Gold is phenomenal. I mean, this movie is phenomenal. And again, it's one of those movies that unfortunately has kind of been forgotten. And it's a shame because they just don't make movies like this anymore. This is a type of movie that is just begging for a remake. But as much as I hate remakes, but if it brought back more people to see this movie, then it would be totally worth it. But anyways, that's the first installment of this series. I hope you liked it. I really hope that you check out some of these movies. And if you have seen any of them, let me know what you thought about them, and if you think I'm right or if I was wrong, or maybe I just don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But until the next time, this is Jim. Again, please give me a like if you like what you saw, and I would love to hear from you. So take care, and we'll see you on the next one.